What's it like to have ADHD? So, what's it like to have ADHD?
Some people daydream or find it difficult to concentrate. Others feel angry.
Sometimes you just want to go out lashing out at them. It's like your heart starts, your body starts getting really rough and hot and all that. It's feel like it's really aggressive.
So he feels aggressive, like a human volcano.
Exactly.
But doesn't that mean he might be in trouble a lot or might feel bad about himself?
Yes, but some people with ADHD don't feel like that at all. Some daydream.
So do you feel like you can't pay attention very well?
Only when I'm taking a test. I get distracted, I'm like... Then I'm off in my own little world.
What's it like in that world?
Fun. I get to draw, paint, do whatever I want. And I also get to buy my own dog.
It sounds like a lovely world. Why do you think it's a problem?
Because I don't get my work done.
So she was daydreaming, which sounds fun, but means she's not concentrating on her schoolwork.
Right, and focusing is a problem for some people, whether they daydream or not.
The worst problems I really have involves schoolwork and not being able to finish classwork before the other students. What they do in my math class is when we're done with the test, our teacher will ask us and she'll tell us to raise our hands if we're not finished, and sometimes I'll end up being the only one in the classroom and everyone will kind of stare at me.
So he struggles to concentrate. Whoa!
That's right. And some people feel like they're on the outside, that things are out of their control.
I say stuff that I don't even, know why I said that. And then a couple minutes, wow, did I just really do that? I can't believe I did that.
So ADHD can feel different to different people.
Yes, and that's why it's difficult to tell who has it.
Does medication turn me into a different person? So if I had ADHD, would I have to take medication?
Perhaps. You might have heard of one of them, Ritalin.
And how much would the medication change me?
Some people think it can change you a lot, even into a different person. But it's not actually like that.
Okay, so would the medication give me space to stop and think?
That's a nice way of putting it.
Would you say that when you take your medicine, it changes you?
It's a bit of both really, because I'm a bit the same person I always am. I act a bit different, but I am always the same person.
No, I'm still the person I am, just almost a better version of it. Well, I don't think they'd be better, but they just remind that part of my brain to work. That bit's already there, but then that just reminds it to do its job.
But it's not that different. You're still the same person, but you just act a little better. Medication will help you control yourself.
When you take your tablets, because do you feel like you're a different person?
Well, not really. No, it's just I'm the same person. It's just I just behave differently.
So the medication wouldn't turn me into a different person?
Exactly! It's tricky for children with ADHD because they have to learn to follow the rules, but they also want to be free, to be themselves.
Sounds like a difficult balance.
It is. That's why kids need lots of support when taking medication, so they feel they can be themselves. And doctors and parents can help by talking about it with them.
What does Ritalin do? So what exactly does Ritalin do?
It affects certain chemicals in the brain and can help control some of the symptoms of ADHD.
Is that a good thing? Can that really help?
It helps people in different ways. It can help them to focus, to control their attention, and it can help them to stop and think before they act.
Well, some people have ADHD and they're like my mate who has got it, he's got severe and he's always hypo, even when he's took his tablet. But he's a lot calmer when he's took them. It makes me helps me behave better, but it don't make you behave better. It can only help you, but it can help make better decisions for you.
I finished my homework earlier, and I don't get trouble a lot anymore. I don't I pay attention a lot more. I barely get in trouble anymore.
Okay, I can see what it does, but what does it actually feel like when you take Ritalin?
About an hour after I've had it, I go quite quiet.
Like, do you think too quiet or?
I think sometimes people notice because late in the day before we go home it wears off a bit. And then that's, if I'm going to get into trouble in the day, it'll be then.
Right.
And then I'm quietest when I first go in to school. That's about an hour later.
And how do you like yourself best? What version of yourself?
Not too quiet, but not too loud. No.
Right.
Just right. So I won't be too loud to get in trouble or anything. But then I won't be really quiet and I still talk to people. I prefer to keep on them because they do help. I know that.
Okay, now I understand, but who decides if somebody needs Ritalin?
The final decision should be shared between parents, doctors, teachers and the child. When everyone is involved in making the decision, it's better for the child.
Who's in control?
If children have ADHD, then they might be given medication.
But doesn't it control the children? Doesn't it make them like robots?
The medicine's supposed to help the parts that don't behave well behave better. Like if you're driving in a car and there's 2 different ways and you usually always go this way. And there's another road, okay, you go into grandma's house, which is here, and there's 2 roads that go like this, that are the same length. And usually you just take this way and then you get used to it. But the ADHD acts as kind of like a blocker, so you can't, and one day you can't go that way, so you have to go the other way.
So what does the medicine do? If the ADHD is a blocker?
It opens the blocker so that you can go that way.
Okay.
But which means you still have the choice of going the wrong way.
So some kids tell me that without their medicine, they don't have a choice. Their ADHD doesn't allow them to behave.
It's harder. That's what's the truth. Because it's not like they're robots. Like, people say that actions talk louder than words. So don't go on your feelings, go on what's right. And ADHD makes the feelings stronger, so more the need to do it.
So really, children with ADHD are still in control of themselves. It's just difficult. It's hard work.
Right. And the medication doesn't turn them into robots. It just helps them to make decisions in a different way.
Downside of medication. So, if I had ADHD, then medication would solve all my problems.
No, it's not that simple. There are some downsides.
When you were taking the medication, was there anything that you found helpful with it?
I could stay on task, but there are way more negatives than positives. I didn't eat, at all. I got extreme headaches. Mostly I felt suckish. I hated it. My grades, it's really, really hard for me to keep it out of B range, so I've gotten C's. Usually I went down to the C after I went off the medication. The thing is, when I was in 5th grade, I was on medication, and I got C's in, a lot of things, and it was hard, so I was like, what the heck? So I tried getting off it for a while, and it still stayed the same at the beginning of the school year, then it really picked up, and I was like, yes, thank you. So I wanted to see how I would do without it, and then when I did better, I was like, sweet, goodbye, medicine.
So, should children just put up with it if the medication makes them feel bad? Keep side effects secret?
No, they should tell their parents and doctors how they feel. If the medication is making them feel bad in some way, it's important to know about it.
Stigma experiences. So that's a stigma. A big old stigma. What exactly is a stigma?
It's something that marks you out as different. Or it might be people making assumptions about you based on a word or label, like ADHD.
Right, like if somebody makes fun of you.
Could be. Children with ADHD sometimes worry about others finding out, or they might be picked on because they have it.
This boy at school who keeps on pushing me to make me angry. And he always hits me, he bribes me, he takes money from me. He does anything to annoy me, and he knows I'm easy to wind up. It's not really kicking or punching when you want to do it. Like you're not really targeting at them. Like you're not like aiming a target. You're just doing it anywhere really. You always get wound up and because when people wind you up, you get really cross, and that's when you lash out a lot.
So someone has deliberately wound them up just because they have ADHD?
That's right.
Maybe they shouldn't tell anyone then. Keep it secret.
That could make things worse, make the stigma worse, because they would feel all alone.
Do our kids at school know that you take medicines?
No.
Would it upset you if they did know, or would it be okay?
It wouldn't be okay.
Or do they know that you have ADHD?
They don't know.
Ah. Does anybody know in school? Your friends?
Only person that only knows is my teacher.
Your teacher, okay. Do you not really want to tell your friends?
Because they gonna start teasing me about it.
Okay, so I see the problem. But if I was being wound up or keeping a secret like that, what would I do?
The worst thing is to bottle it up.
Bottle it up?
You know, keep it inside, just to yourself. These problems are normal and it's best to talk about them to parents, teachers, doctors, friends.
I get it. You need to let it out.
Yes, the best way to defeat stigma is for people to be open with each other.
Visiting the doctor. So, if I had ADHD, would I have to see a doctor?
Yes, children with ADHD should visit the doctor from time to time.
But why? What for?
Good question. Some of the children don't know why either.
Do you know what it stands for, ADHD? No? Do you know what it is generally?
No, I don't know nothing about it.
Do you have any sense of, like, when you come here, do you know why you're coming?
No.
Do you care knowing what it's about?
I would like to know.
Do you remember going to see the GP and he said that he thought maybe you had it?
That's the doctor, he said.
Yeah, and what kinds of things did he do?
They waited me.
Do you like your doctor? Do you have a doctor you like?
I don't know who's my doctor.
I don't get it. Shouldn't these children know why they're visiting the doctor?
You're right. Doctors should help children to understand what ADHD is and encourage them to ask questions.
You've been going to see the doctor, right? What's it like when you go and see him?
I don't know. I feel kind of scared. Yeah, because I only visit him once every 6 months, I think. He doesn't ask me any questions. That's what I want him to do. Ask me some questions.
What would you like him to ask you?
Well, I don't know. Like questions about ADHD, like you're saying to me now.
Children with ADHD and their doctors need to be talking to each other at every visit.
I see, but not just about physical stuff like height and weight.
Exactly. They might want to talk about ADHD, or their medication, or talk about bullying, or how school is going.
Teachers. I imagine the classroom is a good place to be if you have ADHD.
Why do you say that?
I suppose your teacher could help you to concentrate.
Yes and no. It depends on the teacher. A lack of focus or being distracted can actually be a reaction to the classroom.
Sometimes I daydream, depends what teacher I get. Because sometimes I do it in maths with Miss, she's just shouting at people hell loads.
So, it sounds like if a lesson's going to be long and loud, meaning filled with teachers shouting, you'd rather go and daydream.
Yeah.
You should actually be more calm on the people with ADD and ADHD because they could get real upset. Because some teachers may think that they should be harder on them, and it's actually just making it worse.
There I was in much of a less safe environment because my headmaster hated me. Me and my friends, he had ADHD too, and he didn't like us both because he thought, well, ADHD just means we're violent. It doesn't mean anything about our creativeness or anything.
At school we have this teacher, she introduced to me this timer thing, which means you have half an hour to do a time to do a piece of homework, and it's like a traffic light. It goes green when you're doing okay with the time,
And then orange, amber, when you need to kind of crack on, hurry up when the time's running out, and then red when you have to stop. It helps.
I understand. A stressful classroom environment could make it more difficult for children to focus on their work.
That's right. Children should feel free to talk to their doctors and teachers. Together they can find ways to support their learning and behaviour in the classroom. It's best when everyone gets together to work it out.
Other things that help. So, let me get this straight. The only solution to behaviour or attention problems is to take medication like Ritalin.
Not at all. Children can use a number of strategies to help themselves.
Here, it's like your stomach, a fireball, and it's like bursting and it wants to come out, but then it sort of like travels up to my head, and then sometimes I control it and sometimes I just don't. I have a meditation tape I sometimes use. It's got 3 tracks on it and they're all different lengths. I like to go outside and stuff and like run and walk in the fresh air and stuff.
And they kind of help stop the fireball coming out?
Yeah, sometimes I go and like I clench my fists and stuff, and sometimes I get a nail mark when I do that too much.
But you say that doesn't happen at school?
Because I'm around my friends, I talk to some of my friends about stuff, but I don't really talk to my parents about.
But right now I'm sitting next to someone who is always on task, and when she puts her folder down, she'll always like take a look at me, like once in a while, and see how I'm doing, because she knows that I have like trouble like that. And if I'm not looking at my test and doing it, she'll be like, "Get back to your test."
So other ways of managing ADHD might be to ask friends to help, or meditate, or go outside and run around.
Exactly. If children take responsibility for themselves, they get better at self-control. It just takes time.